This video will get you ahead of 99% of people. Have you ever stopped to think how many times you're just surviving, while others are out there quietly thriving? It's uncomfortable, but it's true. Most people are too busy trying to look successful to actually become successful. And no, it's not because they lack intelligence, talent, or luck. It's because they're following a script that was never theirs to begin with. A script full of invisible habits, cheap opinions, toxic relationships, and half-baked plans. While you're out there chasing the next shortcut, there are people building empires, one brick at a time, with consistency, patience, and personal investment. And what separates them from you? Clarity through action. They're not waiting for permission or for someone to validate them. They just move. Because they've already learned a crucial truth. The real world doesn't reward the curious. It rewards the doers, even the scared ones. So if you feel stuck, tired of trying and not seeing results, or trapped in a life that seems to run in circles, this video is for you. Here, you're going to learn how to break the cycle, to stop repeating patterns, to do what 99% of people avoid. Face the truth. And yes, it might sting, but it'll also set you free. Are you ready to rise above average? Stop quitting when things get hard. Most people think failure is what blocks success. But here's the real truth. The silent habit of quitting when it gets hard is the real villain. When the plan starts demanding more, when the excitement fades and routine kicks in, that's when most people run. They drop the business, switch goals, abandon relationships, always jumping ship. But the issue isn't opportunity. It's a lack of persistence. And if you never plant roots, you'll never harvest results. Life has a phase I like to call the valley of death. That part where everything feels harder, more confusing, and way less exciting than it did in the beginning. At first, you're riding on optimism, thinking it'll be easy. But when the real work shows up, and it always does, people assume they picked the wrong path. Truth is, that's the test. That's where discipline, confidence, and the rare trait of frustration tolerance are built. Want a real-life example? Think of someone who starts a business. They invest time, money, energy. But when they don't see quick profits, they bail. They jump from dropshipping to digital marketing to opening a beauty salon and end up building nothing. If they just stuck with one thing, they might be reaping the return on their personal investment by now. Because success isn't built on exciting beginnings, it's built on surviving the hard middle. And speaking of challenges, the next one is even more dangerous than quitting. Let's talk about it. Stop seeking approval from others. Have you noticed how easy it is to outsource your life? Someone has an idea, a dream, a plan. But before taking the first step, they need to hear what their friend thinks, what their mom thinks, what their Instagram followers think. And out of fear of disappointing others, they freeze. They stay still, waiting for permission from people who've never had the courage to build what they're trying to build. That's dangerous. Because when your decisions depend on approval, you're handing over the wheel, usually to people who don't even have the success you're chasing. Most advice we hear comes from fear, not wisdom. Parents say, that won't work, because they've been hurt before. Friends say, it's risky, because they gave up when things got tough. And what happens? You stall. You get stuck in a maze of opinions. And here's the cruel part. You forget that clarity comes from action, not consensus. You don't need the world to say, go. You need to give yourself that green light, even if no one else sees the vision. Want a practical exercise? List the 5 people whose opinions you care about the most. Now ask yourself, do they live the life you want to live? If the answer is no, why are you letting their voices shape your future? You don't need a committee to approve your dreams. You need conviction. And once you step into that mindset, everything changes. You stop watching from the sidelines and start taking the lead. And that only happens when you invest in what really matters next. Stop chasing investments before investing in yourself. Funny how people are always asking where to put their money, but don't even know how to earn it reliably yet. You hear, which crypto is gonna blow up? Which stock has quick returns? But rarely, which skill can earn me steady income month after month? Before you talk about multiplying money, you've got to know how to create it. And that starts with the most powerful route: investing in yourself. Building skills, a growth mindset, communication, sales, leadership. That's where the real ROI is. Let's be honest. Some people are spending more on smartwatches than on a course that could double their income. More on hair and nails than on a mentor. And sure, looking good is great. But if you don't have internal strength, trained confidence, and a solid game plan, the money you make will vanish faster than it came. When you choose to invest in yourself, you stop relying on luck or timing. You become the asset, the most profitable one you'll ever own. Got limited funds? Start simple. Pick one profitable skill, like copywriting, video editing, digital ads, or public speaking, and take a serious course. Don't know where to begin? Read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind or Rich Dad, Poor Dad to rewire your financial mindset, then move on to technical skills. The key is to create value, because value attracts income. And once you master that, well, now it's time to ask, who are you listening to? Because the next trap might be sitting across from you at the dinner table. Stop listening to people who don't have money. It's a tough truth. If someone's never built what you want, they can't show you the way. Still, everywhere you turn, broke people are handing out financial advice like candy. You can love your family, your friends, your community, and still admit, some of them aren't equipped to guide your future. That's not arrogance. It's called financial education. Knowing how to filter. Because your social circle can be your cage or your springboard. Look around. Whose voice do you hear the most? Do they live the life you'd trade yours for? If not, the answer is simple. Change your environment. If you can't be around wealthy, growth-minded people in person, start online. Read books, watch videos, join virtual masterminds. Try the Millionaire Fast Lane. Follow real entrepreneurs. Observe how wealth thinkers move. Proximity to wealth isn't flattery, it's strategy. Someone once told me, if you spend too much time around small minds, you'll start thinking big dreams are arrogant. That hit hard. Because your environment isn't neutral. It shapes your thoughts, your standards, your limits. And speaking of environment, the most powerful one isn't a place. It's a person. Especially the one who shares your bed. Stop choosing unsupportive partners. Some people don't need enemies, they're already sleeping next to one. Harsh, maybe, but real. So many people are trying to grow, build wealth, chase big goals. And right beside them is someone saying, why do you need all that? Aren't you overdoing it? You work too much. This kind of negative influence, even subtle, slowly kills your ambition. Over time, you don't even realize you stopped trying. And the saddest part? It doesn't always come from a bad place. It comes from fear. Fear that your growth will expose their stagnation. Because when you grow, you change. And not everyone around you is ready for that change. A good partner builds with you, believes in you, pushes you forward. A bad one? They drain your energy, plant doubt, and turn every win into emotional warfare. More common and more destructive than most people admit. Want to test if your relationship is helping or hurting? List the big decisions you've postponed because you feared their reaction. Now ask, who would you be today if you had followed through? Sometimes, the best personal investment you can make is letting go of someone who's become your anchor. Because the road to self-confidence, clarity through action, and real financial freedom only opens up when you're surrounded by people who support your flight, not those who hope you fall. And in the end, All of this comes down to one simple choice, one most people never make. Now that you've seen what's really been holding you back, the question is, what are you going to do with it? Just nod and go back to your routine? Or are you finally ready to take control? You already know what needs to stop. Quitting too early. Seeking validation from people who've built nothing. Hiding behind investments instead of building yourself. Taking advice from the wrong people. And, maybe the hardest one, staying with someone who fears your greatness. So, let me ask you this. Which one do you need to cut out first? Drop it in the comments. And if this video opened your mind, just imagine what we can build together from here. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the journey. Because here, we're not trying to impress the 99%. We're here to outgrow them.